Hey everyone, it's Desiree. Now I'm back kind of sort of with the second part to the paper beads. I'm going to show you how we make them a charm so that you can use them in all kinds of different ways. So I'll apologize now. My window's open because I need to enjoy this beautiful day. So I'm right on a main road. So you're going to hear a lot of traffic. So I do apologize. And hopefully this one will be short. But for this series, it seems like it's long. So I'll apologize for that too. So I just grabbed some of my paper beads. These are the chunky ones. These are the ones that I kind of do go towards now, the big chunky ones. I do like the smaller ones as well. And you can get really small. Again, it just depends upon how you cut your paper. That one's just really cute. So this one's cutting the paper 1/4 of an inch wide at the top and then coming down to a point. This one's cutting this one 1/4 of an inch wide at the top and staying close to 1/4 of an inch down towards the other side. This gives you kind of like a barrel look. This one here is 1/2 inch wide at the top and a point at the other side. And this one, my God, this one's really small. That one is, yes, also 1/4 of an inch wide. This is a 6-inch, 6x6 pad. 1/4 of an inch wide down to a point. So again, you've got all of these different options. You can make them as small as you want or as large and chunky as you want. Make them more chunky, just add more layers to your pattern paper or the magazine paper or newspaper, whatever you're using. Okay, you can use anything that you want. You could use your tea dyed or your coffee stained paper too. That would be awesome, I think. And what great texture that would be. So it is your choice on how you cut your papers. So these here are the ones that I usually wire wrap. You could use these as an accent underneath your paper beads. Like this one would be great coming in right there if you wanted to. That is your choice. But what I do is I like to make these charms. So you will need some tools, just some wire. This is just regular craft wire. This is not anything special. This is 20 gauge. And this is the Bead Smith, and it's craft wire. It says it's tarnish resistant. Yeah, no, it tarnishes. Just saying. And there's 15 yards on this, and I think I paid like maybe $5 for this spool. Again, I get this online. I'll link it below. Again, I have tons of this. So I forget. Again, I haven't done this in a while, so y'all are bringing this back to me. So I'll have to find where I got all of it. But you're going to need some tools. I do like this one. Is this one required? No. But I do like this one just because, see how crinkly my wire is? Yeah, because I'm not neat. But if I take this, and what I do is I wrap it around my finger so I have a hook. And if I just pull this along this wire, create that hook again. And if I continue pulling along this wire, it actually straightens it out. So I do like that. And I'm okay with that hook because I'm sure I'll be cutting that end off anyway. So again, I just hook it around my finger. I always cut more than what I need. That one's a good one. So I'll go over that a couple times. This can hurt after a while, especially because of what I do with the wire. You shouldn't, well, however we do it, we're fine. But you can see it does smooth it out very nicely. And I like to start it out that way. But when you're rolling it off of a spool, it's going to curl up. That's the only time that you need that tool. So I do like that. Of course, you'll need a pair of cutters. All right. These you can get all at your local craft store, nothing special. And then you're going to need, I usually use these 3. Now you can get a 3-in-1 tool where it has all of these in there, so make sure you get 2 of them, because you kind of need 2 of them sometimes to get things going. But I just use these. These are a flat, and then these have a rounded edge because I like to put a decorative edge on the bottom. And that's what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to come in at this side, and I'm going to take my pliers with the rounded edge, and I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to curl. I'm going to pull out, and then I'm going to do that again. And then I just want to flatten it. Now you can make that tighter if you want, but what I'm going to do is now I'm just going to keep on rolling this. Matter of fact, this is where I like my flat ones. And I just keep grabbing it, and I just keep turning. This is one way that I create my bottom edge. And I just keep going until I want to say stop. So right about here, I'll say stop. So then what I do, and while I have that, I grab onto that and then I straighten out my other end. So now I'm all set to go. So now what I do is I have these beads here. Now these are just very, craft store beads, bottom line. So I'm just going to grab one, and I'm going to thread one on, if I can find the hole. There we go. And you can see that's going to stop the bead. All right, now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to bend this back just a little bit. So make it like a question mark, just a little bit. Because then it'll be in the center and not off to the side. There we go. This way. I hope everyone can see that. I am not a jewelry maker. I'm just going to say that now. I'm going to thread on my paper bead, and you can see by me putting that bead on there, it kind of fills in the bottom hole. Again, I'm not looking for this to be perfect. And then what I'll do is I'll come in with another one. Hopefully I'll find the same color. I did. And I will thread that one on. Well, not yet. Sorry. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this. All right. I'm going to put my thumb down, and now I'm just going to wrap. This wire is wonderfully pliable, which is great. And I'm just going to bend and just get it to go around the bead. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it tight. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, and if I can, which I can, I'm going to push it through that. Just let it bend, let it bend. Okay, now that was a happy accident because that actually gave me a loop. I did not plan that, but you know what? We're going to go with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this other and I'm going to coil it around that. So that what I'm doing here is covering up the top of the bead. Okay, I couldn't have planned that better than anything else in the world, people. I don't know how that'll happen again, because it won't. And I'm just going to keep wrapping this until I come to this edge And luckily I'm able to tuck this right up in there. I hope you can see that. And I'm just going to tuck because it's a sharp edge. So I'm actually going to push that up in there. Okay. And I just like to rub my finger along it, and I have no sharp edge. Okay, so honestly, first charm. You gotta love it. It's not perfect, and you know what? That's what I love about it. It's something different. It's something unique. Other people do it. I'm not saying this is not my idea. Other people do this, but that will never work out perfect ever again like that, because that just created my loop. So now I can put this using a jump ring onto anything that I want. A jump ring or a paper clip, which that'll be a later video, or anything else, but that is ready to go. So usually what I'll do as well is I will take I'm going to take this bottom and I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up, and now I'm going to keep winding. So you can see I'm actually winding next to the previous wire. And I want to make sure that I stay on the same spot, well, as best as I can with that. So it's almost like a coil. I'm going to take this. I need just to straighten this out again. There we go. I'm going to take this and I'm going to come from the opposite end. So see how that loop I'm making? So the wire's coming from here. I'm going to bend it around and I'm going to come from the top and I'm going to pull. And I'm going to keep pushing that down. That is another way to have an end. And I usually do this one. I usually like to do this one because I think it's kind of cool. It comes out of the center. Again, I'm going to use a bead. I'm going to come through. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. Now, what I can do for this one, since I don't necessarily have to wrap around my bead. So what I can do is I can just add another one up here, if I can thread it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest it down on my pinky and hold this, because what I want to do is I want to come in here right on top of that, make it tight, and bend down. I want that to be a nice, sharp bend, because I want this to be tight. All right, it seems like it's loose, but trust me, it's going to go. So now then, it's fighting me. So now that I have this bent down, that's what I did, I just turned it. I'm now going to come in at the top. I'm going to put the top one there and I'm going to bend this up. So now I have that. Can you see that? I hope. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to tilt her up and I'm going to bend this through. So that's what it's done. It's threaded through the bead and this. And what that did was that has created my loop. Now, I can still feel this is a little bit loose and all of that. So I'm going to get those beads on top of the paper bead. Remember, it's paper. We can smush it. to get these beads to set in there. And I'm going to hold that just to make sure that they're set. And once I have this back in, I'm going to start twisting. Going to start twisting around, making sure that that top bead is sitting where it needs to sit. And now I'm going to bring it back up. So the approximate length, I'm going to say, of this wire was about 18 to 20 inches long. Now I can let that go because I now know that this is pretty sturdy. So with my fingers, I'm going to bring this up and continue just to wrap it around the base of the eye to make my charm. Again, I am not a jewelry maker. I will never profess that I'm a jewelry maker, because now what I do is I just try to flatten out that sharp edge so that it doesn't hurt me. That's literally what I do. And there's our next bead. And again, it is a paper bead that is encased in wire. It's very simple, and that's all I do. But again, once they're dry with the diamond glaze and everything else, now this is a little off, I don't care. You could also wrap it down here if you wanted to. You could keep the wrappings down here. So let's do that. We'll do one more because this was going to be a short video. Yep, nope, not now. All right, so let's do this one. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to grab my circles. I'm going to turn, going to go back in, and now I'm going to make it right next to it. And I'm going to keep rolling and rolling, making sure that it's nice and tight, making sure that I'm in the same spot on. Now these are rounded nose pliers. All right, so my wire's coming out this side. I want to come down in on this side. So I'm going to pull it. I'm going to help bend it just a little bit. So now you see my connection. The wire's coming from this. The tail is coming through this side. I hope everyone sees that. You see that? All right, and now I'm just going to pull. Since this is a 20 gauge, it's not too thick. Sometimes, just like now, you gotta just keep pushing it and pushing it. It'll go. And if you don't like the shape, then you know what? I come in with my flat and I push it in to flatten it out. And that's all I do. But I do like that. Now I'll come in here because this went a little crooked, just to straighten that out. It looks like the bottom of a light bulb. That's why I like it, I think. All right, so I'm going to grab some beads here. Decisions. Oh, we'll go with these. All right, so I'm going to put that one down there. I'm going to come in with this one. And I'm going to come in with another one. All right. So, I'm going to make my loop. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to bend it over, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it. So see how that's sitting in there? I don't know if you can see that. So it's kind of S-ing through that. It's on the left-hand side of the bottom. It goes between the two, and then it comes up and over the one on this side. I pull out. I put my tool. I need it on this side. I put my tool back in there along the bottom. You see that? God, I hope you can see this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it to the other side. And then I'm going to take my piece out. So see, I have my loop. Again, it's not a perfect loop. I'm good with it. So now, what I'm going to do is I am going to continue. I'm going to grab my flat, and I'm going to bend. And I'm going to wrap. Now, as I'm wrapping, I want to make sure that my beads are set in the way that they should be, because as I'm wrapping this, it's going to put pressure coming down on this piece, so it's going to fill in those two gaps. And then I'm going to come down. I just wanted to make that a little tighter. All right, and once I have it, I can now use my fingers, and I'm going to keep on coming down. And now that I'm here, I'm going to wrap around this base just a few times, not many, because I didn't wrap around that too many times. I'm going to come in with my clippers, and I'm going to clip really close. And now I'm going to come in with my flat so that I can get that tucked in there. Nope. Not tucked in enough. There we go. That's tucked in. Because it's wire, we can straighten everything out. And that's what that one looks like. So that's all I do. Again, it's nothing fancy. I am not a jewelry maker. This is the container that I keep it in because this is awesome ice cream. I'm not a jewelry maker in any way, shape, or form. I just enjoy it. It's quick. It's easy. I love making the paper beads. To be able to say, when I tell people that these are paper beads, I get funny looks. Because there's some times where they're like, no, that's not a paper bead. And it is. By putting the wire around it, it does help protect it as well. These can collapse even though they have that diamond glaze around it. You know, you can squish them and bend them. You got to put a lot of force onto them. But, you know, a lot of people are very pleased and very amazed that these are paper beads. And I think these would be an awesome, awesome addition to your junk journals, whether you're making those big boho tassels, or if you just want this to be a charm coming off, or if it's a bookmark that you're using in there. Yes, I'll be showing you all of those different types of things. I think they're a great addition. And again, make them smaller. You don't have to make them this big. You know, you can get into these little sizes, which would be perfect for little tiny charms coming off the side. So you could even have charms that are paper. Okay? So, oh my goodness, I'm under 25 minutes. That is absolutely amazing. Again, all of the supplies that I use, such as tools, I'll find a good deal for these for you. I'll link them down below. Same thing with the wire. But again, you can get these items at your local craft store, whether it's Michael's, AC Moore's, Hobby Lobby, or anything that you have, maybe even your dollar store. So make sure you check those out. I do hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you did enjoy the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have you part of my gang here. Make sure you ring the bell, because as you can see, you never know what you're going to get next. If you are having a day, it is amazing. I am loving the days that we are having. No rain, it's not hot. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. I hope you're able to have one of those as well. But always remember what's most important for me. No matter what you do, always be creative. Talk soon.